Okie dokie, it looks like we're live. It's good to be back. Welcome to the Brews at 10. This is the very first of them. New feature on the channel. Hope you're really well. Not been on Livestream for a while, so it's great to be back. H. Lukill. Good evening. Hope you're well. So this is, like I said, a new feature. There's going to be a few of those. A few changes to the channel. It's more or less going to be as many weekdays as I can fit in at 10 o'clock. Excuse me. I need a brew. I hope you've got one too. There we go. So more or less with the election going on and so much more happening at the same time, I thought it'd be good to have some more regular weekday live streams. Still going to be going with the regular Sunday ones as well, but with so many events, it's going to be really hard to condense that all into the live stream on Sundays. So more content to come. Thanks a lot for being here, whether you're joining us live or on a replay. I'm your host, Lefty. This is my left eye. So yeah, hit the notification bell so you won't miss out on these regular weekday streams. It's going to be lots of news and politics and debate, of course. Coming up tonight, I'm going to be catching up with a few stories that have happened over the last couple of days. And if you've not checked out the recent upload on predictions and analysis so far of General Election 2024, please do check that out, bookmark that. Thanks a lot for your comments on that video as well. So I'll be diving into some articles very shortly. What's been happening the last couple of days since the release of the aforementioned video. There have been a few stories that have come out, some updates on that, on some of the things that I do mention in the video, including Diane Abbott, who's decided she wants to stand for Labour. Be getting through the ins and outs of that one. Nigel Farage is going to be standing as a candidate for the Reform Party. He came up in the video recently uploaded as well. But some breaking stuff today as well, including an announcement from a former Labour candidate who was deselected that she'll now be standing as an independent, and also a story about the Welsh Labour leader who's faced a vote of no confidence recently as well over some corruption allegations, misuse, should we say, of campaign money, misappropriation, etc. So there are a few of the things that I'm going to be talking over. Probably going to go on for about an hour, maybe a touch longer. We'll just see how busy it gets in the chat. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do so to join the chat. Be able to do that after just 60 seconds. Also, if you'd like to consider supporting the channel with a membership, you can do that for just 99p. Check out some of the perks. If you're watching on a replay, please consider using a super thanks to support the channel and show solidarity. Or you can also go to the Buy Me a Coffee page. The links are all in the description of the channel and this video as well. So I've created a new playlist as well, just for these Brews at 10s. It's going to eventually build up to be a back catalogue. So please do check out some of the other content on the channel as well. As I said, I've been away for a little while. Just been working on the edit for that video, obviously. A few other things have been keeping me busy also. But working on some restructuring as well for the channel, including this. Going to be touching on that live TV debate between Sunak and Starmer as well. Not going to be doing a replay with commentary a la PMQs. This being a Wednesday, usually on the schedule I would be doing PMQs analysis, but alas, that's all been put on hold now for the general election on the 4th of July. So we'll be returning to those as soon as they finish the break from Parliament. Will we have a new Prime Minister? Who knows? Well, you'll have to check out that video I mentioned to get my early predictions and analysis of fairly recent goings on as well. Please do check that out as well. Oh, apologies for anyone who lives in Holborn and St Pancras as well. Just a quick correction there. It's also corrected in the comments I did mispronounce St Pancras as St Pancreas, so apologies for that. Whether you live in that constituency or you're just a literacy nerd, it doesn't matter. It was a little late in the evening when I came to record that section of the video, so apologies for that oversight. Vicky Clee, welcome to the chat. Hiya, good to see you both this evening. A couple of members in the chat also. It's great to see you. Right, I'll kick off with a bit of a comedy clip. There's going to be no fondue lounge on these Brews at 10 videos. I'm going to be saving that for the Sunday live streams as well. We'll just dive straight in with the latest from Matt Green. Just bear with me one sec. I was certain I put it on the list. It's okay if not, it'll just take me one sec. Let us know if you've got a brew as well. I'm on tea this evening. That sounded a bit too sort of, I don't know, like hospital radio cheesy or whatever. Let us know. Oh, I love to have this on toast. Let us know what you like to have on toast. No, just because it fits in with the theme. Right, so here it is.
So this has been a pretty bad day for the Conservatives, hasn't it? We've had worse. I mean, do you remember Liz Truss? Of course. That's our main problem. We were rather hoping people wouldn't. Yeah, okay. We've seen a number of polls saying you're going to lose a lot of seats in the election. The only poll that matters is the one on July the 4th. Are you really saying these polls don't worry you? I mean, some of your colleagues could lose their seats. People like Jeremy Hunt, Grant Shapps, Penny Mordaunt, Mark Harper, Gillian Keegan, Esther McVeigh. Yes. Sorry? Nothing? Sorry, can I just check? You definitely said Esther McVeigh. Yes. Oh no, that's awful. You also put out a campaign video featuring an upside down flag, which is of course a distress signal. That's ridiculous. Why would we put out a distress signal? Are you okay? What? Were you just blinking SOS in Morse code? No. And if things weren't bad enough for you, Nigel Farage is back. So? Well, it's bad news for you, isn't it? You've spent most of the campaign so far trying to appeal to Reform supporters, and now Nigel's back to take all their votes. No, it's bad news for him, actually, because we've adopted all of his policies. So where can he go now? Further to the right? Oh God, of course. Well, then we'll just go further to the right ourselves and appeal to an increasingly small right-wing elderly demographic. That's never let us down in the past. Some of your colleagues are jumping ship and backing Reform. Would you consider doing that? Never. Even if Nigel Farage asked you to be a candidate? Why, what have you heard? Did he say something about me? It's just a hypothetical. Then no, I'd never join Reform, unless they asked very nicely. Oh, it's not purple anymore, is it? Thank you, Minister. Next up, we were going to be doing an interview with a Green Party candidate, but we've just heard that Nigel Farage is going into a pub, and we can't miss this.
Well, I guess that'll lead me on to the first of these recent stories. Good stuff from Matt Green there. Check his content out if you don't do so already. So it was Richard Tice officially as head of the party. We all knew that Farage was busy working the strings behind the scenes, of course, and now he's officially declared that he's going to be taking over as leader of the party and also standing in Clacton-on-Sea, to try and win a seat in the House of Commons for, I believe, the 7th time, without success. The previous 6 of those, obviously. He did manage to become an MEP. Famously, he isn't anymore, but he's never had a seat in the House of Commons. I might have to refer to the recent upload that I did once or twice, mentioning some of these stories. But in that one, yeah, there's been one or two people who I've spoken to as well, and in the comments, bit of debate over how many seats the Reform Party may or may not get. Will this increase their chances? I don't know. I can't really say that I think he'll get in this time. I wouldn't say that he's, whatever you think about him, just analytically, at the peak of his popularity, if that's what you might call it. So let's take a look at that first. Here he is. So he's thrown his hat in the ring for the 7th time, like I said. Just that'll do for now. And this will not come as a surprise to a great many people. It was rumoured that he was going to stand. A lot of people were wondering why has he waited until now to maybe hope that a little bit of what he thinks his shock factor might give him a bit of a boost. But, having tried 6 times and failed, you can't really say it's going to be lucky number 7. And be that the case, that's one of my early predictions in the general election, is that they won't win a single bloody seat at all. Not a one. Nothing. Bupkis. Niente. Etc. So, I think any insistence, or what you might call it, that they are going to get seats, that they are going to take some from the Tories, I think is just pretty much hyperbole coming from within the Reform Party itself. I mentioned before how sick I am of how much airtime Richard Tice and Nigel Farage get. So that's going to be in Clacton-on-Sea. He's probably going to be doing lots of photo shoots, opportunistic, pointing out at the sea, with absolutely nothing in the background. Obviously, that's what they're all about, reform. It's anti-immigration, xenophobic. They're trying to appeal to. But I guess electorally, they're trying to appeal to Tory voters more than anything else, as well as the far right. Although you can say that they're the same thing, obviously. But in all honesty, I think you're going to see a sort of semi-revival of the Lib Dems in there among all that as well. They're not going to be rushing to go towards reform any more than they're going to be, going out in droves to vote for Starmer. And that being the case, they got hammered in the last general election, the Lib Dems, obviously, it took a real. They only ended up with 11. They've got 11 in the House of Commons now. I mean, I dare say they could at least double that or several times more than that. Some sort of semi-revival, but not to reform, not to Tice, not to Farage. It's just a brief article. So the Essex seat, which was the first to elect a UKIP MP in 2014, has a Conservative majority of 24,702. And of course, the EU withdrawal was the main issue at the last election. That's no longer the case. Similar to the Tories, they don't have a Brexit to sell anymore. I do detest that word, I do have to be honest. Not not anything to do with my opinion on leaving or anything. Just anyway, that's another matter. So there he was in Clacton, but then there was also this incident during his campaign speech with him getting milkshaked, and this isn't the first occurrence of this. Just gonna open up another bookmark. So just while we're on that, you'll have heard about this obviously, but just quickly give you my 2 cents. There's an interesting element as well to this story. There's a shot of the just before it hits him on the face. So he's walking to the bus from a local pub, says there, when a woman appeared to throw the milkshake in his face. It says, I think it's pretty obvious from that freeze frame what the trajectory of the bloody milkshake is. Victoria Thomas Bowen. That's sorry, name just slipped my mind. Threw the milkshake on Farage. This has happened before. He's not the first MP to have it happen to him either, but she's been arrested. Also, it says in this article, a 44-year-old man arrested on suspicion of assaulting an emergency worker has been released and will face no further action. It's funny how this kind of politics and violence goes together so much. You see it with these far-right demos. Yaxley Lennon was out again recently, and it all got hairy. Just every time. However, there's a bit of a, like I said, a bit of a twist to this story. The lady in question, Victoria Thomas Bowen, apparently I've seen a few things going around social media that she's been pictured with Farage, and there's some speculation that the whole thing might have been some sort of setup, some sort of stunt, some sort of publicity thing. If you have any further information, whether to, confirm or deny this, please do put it in the chat or in the comments if you're watching on a replay. I've not had much time to go on social media since this happened, but I did notice that was going around. So these are the other candidates where he's standing. Let's just take a quick look at that and try and fathom his chances. He'd obviously have to lose a huge majority in the tens of thousands. Giles Watling is the Tory. Jovan Owusu Nepal, Labour. Matthew Bensalem for the Lib Dems, and Natasha Osborne for the Greens. So it's the full list will be published. Obviously Farage is in there as well. But I think the public discourse and whatnot has moved so far away from the EU being an issue. There's so many other socio-political issues. I don't think, maybe, if one of my early predictions is going to come true, then this is going to have to be a massive majority that Farage is going to lose. I'm not sure whether that would warrant it becoming one of the hot seats, one of the ones to watch that I'm going to have coming up. So keep an eye out for those. Anyone who's not seen the video, because you're watching the live stream, I guess I'll give you a bit of an insight just into this detail. Let me see if I can remember them all. I'll get them in the right order. So perhaps Clacton could be one, because just on the basis that this would be a massive majority for a party to lose, obviously a single issue thing, but also that leans towards my general theory that Reform aren't going to get 0 seats. There's also Rochdale, whether Galloway will be able to hold on to that one. There's Holborn, St Pancras, as I mentioned earlier, and also double correction on that mispronunciation and apologies. But that's Starmer's seat, also Islington North, where Corbyn's going to be standing. I'm sure he's going to be winning as well. Hackney North, of course, Diane Abbott's seat. Going to be chatting a bit about that very, very shortly in a bit more detail as well. So there's going to be more to follow. I've not just stuck to a strict limit of a certain number. You know, there's hundreds of constituencies, so there's bound to be a few popping up as well as we get closer to the election. So if you have seen that video, let us know what you think about the selections I've made so far. If there's any that you think are going to be interesting, there are were a lot of marginals out there, for example. Some of those could be interesting to keep an eye on. There's been a lot of, should we say, rats escaping the sinking ship with defections and a lot of them quitting. That's one of the worst things about this upcoming election, I guess, apart from the main parties being so similar, etc., is that we're not going to see a lot of the MPs who have been party to making this country get to a point where it's in the state that it is at the moment. We're not going to see them get the comeuppance as we should. Michael Gove, for example, Matt Hancock. These bastards have done so much damage, and the way that, I mean, specifically as well with Hancock, the way he acted as health secretary during the pandemic as well. They've not even got the whereabouts to get up there on election night and take what's coming to them. This is the depths of how cowardly, you know, your standard Tory MP is. Some of them are defecting to Labour now. You obviously, regular viewers of the channel will know what I think about that and how close that puts Labour to the Tories. Also, the Tories trying to use Labour as a sort of stepping stone to further the political careers, trying to go to seats where they actually think that they can win as well. Sorry, I'm just on a quick scan over the comments. Yeah, just going quickly back to the milkshake thing, Vicky. Yeah, it could have been a publicity thing. Wouldn't surprise me. I wouldn't put it past Farage. Mithril, hope you're well tonight. Thanks for joining us on the chat. Yes, the seat that Streeton is sitting in. I've mentioned this challenge by Andrew Feinstein on Keir Starmer. How interesting it would be that the leader of the main opposition party, I should say, might lose their seat, whatever happens in the election. But also Wes Streeting, who's sort of waiting and you know, rubbing his hands together, can't wait to get his hands on the NHS and put further privatisation into the NHS as well. Something we definitely need to avoid. So that'd be interesting if they have that slip on the banana, as it were. Okay, so one of the hot seats, one of the ones to watch, as I said, is of course Diane Abbott's, and she's, this was going on for days while I was editing that last release. Just kept changing. Will she? Won't she? She wants to do this, but she'll be doing this instead. And now apparently it's all done. The dust has settled. It's landed on her standing for Labour. Let's have a quick look at that. What do you think of the what do you think of the logo for the hot seats as well? Let me know in the chat. Just go back to the screen, pull up the next bookmark. Do you like a banana milkshake with your brew? With your brews at 10 as well? Let us know. So on to Hackney North and Diane Abbott. It's one of the ones to watch. Pardon me. In all the back and forth, Labour said, Starmer said, and Angela Rayner got in on it as well, that there's nothing stopping her from standing for Labour. Now she's matched that and says that that's what's going to happen. And largely for me, that's over the reason that she had the whip removed in the first place. With the comment that she had to apologise about, I think she does want to make a point about this. I'm going to go on to someone who today, it's been in the news, has gone the other way and decided to stand as an independent. Now, the circumstances are different. Obviously, Diane Abbott's had the whip removed. But in the other former candidate for Labour that I'm going to go into, that was a case of deselection. But I'll be going over the finer details of that just momentarily. I'll be honest, she, with her standing for Labour, you know, I still think that she's great for her constituents. She's a wonderful member of Parliament. I think I'd just be cheering her on just a slight percentage less than if she was standing as an independent. She will win. She will win. She's got that 33,000 plus majority. She's going to hold that. So this just quickly says a bitter row over whether the party would select her as a candidate in the seat that dominated the first week of campaigning. It pretty much was in the news every day in the run up to this announcement, and now they're all on about the live TV debate, which I'll briefly touch on later. Might be doing a live stream for the next live debate featuring 7 party leaders as well, so keep an eye out for that. Hit buttons and things. Keir Starmer said on Friday she'd be free to stand for the party after reports that its ruling body would bar her from running. He's put so much emphasis on it being his party now that he can't really go back on that and try and claim that Labour's still an internally democratic party. By any means, he, is calling all the shots. Those deselections are obviously part of this dictatorial stance that Starmer has now. That quote pretty much sums it up. It's not good for Keir Starmer's leadership. It's not good for the Labour Party. We'll win the seat, of course, which is held since 1987. Long time. And her constituents certainly back her. Her constituency is fairly close to Corbyn's as well. And he's going to be standing as an independent. That's come out, of course, since then. He officially launched his campaign today. Saw some scenes of that. He got a few people down. Got a lot more than Starmer would. I'm thinking Also, slightly predicting there'll be another similar incident to the get out of my pub one from a few years ago. I know that was before. Sorry, no, that was after he became party leader. Beg your pardon. Um, and yeah, there's probably going to be one or two of those incidents in there. You always see those coming up in the news, especially the closer it gets. You'll have some hurry, some incident, some exchange, some public beratement, coming into a viral news clip. And we've seen a fair few of those as well. But the one where he's trying to campaign in the guy's pub, and I believe the circumstances were that the guy had voted to leave the EU and he didn't like Starmer because he put up the second referendum, which is, sort of case in point about how that was done deliberately to hinder the party, people's reaction to it, I mean. And being held back by Starmer's burly security. I'm sure you all remember the clip. As well, going back to 2010, there was that clip of Gordon Brown getting in the back of the car when the lady, it was not, it was in the north somewhere, I believe, where he was canvassing, campaigning, etc. And a woman asked him quite comedically, probably without thinking, where all these Eastern Europeans are coming from. And then Gordon Brown didn't realise he still had a mic on, always being recorded. Anyway, it got out that when he got into the car, someone asked him, who was that? And he was like, oh no, that went awful. And he called the woman a bigot. He said she was a bigoted woman, I think is the exact quote. But these things come up all the time, and we're going to see a few of those. I just hope that they directed in the right direction. We've already had the milkshake thing, but I mean more in sort of verbal confrontations and things like that. And similar to the Rochdale thing, the Labour campaigner there, and the lady at the window, oh, we don't vote for Zionists. Yeah, great. So yeah, that was one of the ones to watch. Evening Wonder Gupta, thanks for joining us in the chat. Yeah, she was quite bigoted. I do have to admit that. That was a disastrous election for Gordon Brown. I guess he was just taking the brunt of what him and Blur had, been doing for quite a while. And yeah, there was, a lot being drummed up in the media back then as well. He lost, 91 seats because of that. 91. Are the Tories going to break that record? That's something to consider. Would they lose over 100 seats conceivably? Going to have to work that one out, but I'll try and have an answer to that one. Like I said, another candidate who was deselected, actually. I'm just going to pull up that one. So you just have to bear with me. I've got the one bookmarked. But it is in the stories today. There it is. So Abbott's going to stand for Labour, and Faisal Shaheen, who was deselected, is going to be standing as an independent candidate. And these are some of the seats I think are going to start to crop up on the ones to watch, the hot seats list. I'm going to have to try and compile some official list, get that out so you keep it updated. This is in Chingford and Woodford Green, so she's chosen to leave, but she was deselected anyway as the candidate for the East London constituency. She announced that on Twitter. Yes, I'm still calling it Twitter. And I hope she does well. I guess this is her taking Starmer on. But from the inside, kind of different from Andrew Feinstein's position as an independent. But these deselections have been going on all over the place, and he just tries to parachute people in. People feel insulted, voters aren't stupid when they can see people who they've voted for suddenly disappear from the ballot paper, and then someone they've never heard of, often very far away from where the constituency is itself. Paul Mason springs to mind again with that one. He's from 200, in Mason's case, he's from 200 miles away from the constituency, more or less. Seeing this all across the board, and people on the street being interviewed, and they're saying, who is this person? We've never heard of them. What do they know about local issues when they've never even lived anywhere near the constituency, and they're just going to get injected in there, parachuted in there. And I want to have a look at this list of candidates, because I do really want to weigh up the chances of this going to an independent from Labour in one of the parachute seats, shall we call it. Chris Brodie for the Green Party, wouldn't have anything against him winning, that's for sure. Josh Hadley for the Liberal Democrats, don't think so. In Chingford and Woodford Green, not in that area of London personally, so I think I can rule that one out. Yusuf Khan for Workers' Party of Britain. They're standing in a lot of seats, this Workers' Party of Britain. Not sure if they can add to that number, just the one seat that they have at the moment that Galloway got them. Yeah, it's not something that I haven't been thinking about. It's something I have considered, but I can't really. I'm still collating data, shall we say. I'm still trying to fathom that one personally, and don't want to stick my neck out that far at the moment and try and predict if they'll win any more seats. So at the moment, let's just put that one on the back burner for Yusuf Khan. Paul Lugeri of Reform UK, again similar to Clacton. No, I don't think so. Ian Duncan Smith, the former Tory party leader, Mr. Universal Credit himself, will be standing for the Tories. I don't think he's got much of a chance either. And then finally, Sharma Tatler, who's been parachuted in for Labour. So I would say, at the moment, won't be surprised if it's between Tatler and Shaheen. She seems to have a lot of support there. I'm not saying there's a lot of press. This is going to happen close to an election where Starmer's, rumoured, whatever you will, to be romping to victory on the back of a huge majority. But people, especially voters, especially there, are going to notice this sort of thing. So with those list of candidates, I'd say she's got a pretty decent chance. Pretty decent chance. I don't think, like I said, in that constituency in particular, that's going to be one of the seats that Lib Dem are going to bag, because they're mostly going to be getting theirs from the Tories. Can't see. Yeah, that's another interesting question. How many seats could go from Labour to Lib Dem instead of from Tory to Lib Dem? I don't. Right, that's a whole other issue. I'm not going to open that can of worms. On this, Brews at 10, the very first one. Before I move on to the next story, just want to quickly thank you all for joining us in the chat. If you're not subscribed already, you can join everyone in the chat there just 60 seconds later. There's a lot of ways to support the channel. If you hit the share button, spread us out across social media, help the content reach a wider audience. You can also get my attention in the chat with super chat, or if you're watching on a replay, please consider using super thanks or the buy me a coffee page. And you can also join the channel with some awesome perks for just 99p. I'm going to be giving a shout out to all of the members on the channel as well this evening. Thanks a lot for your support. So I just want to take a look at this while we're talking about Labour specifically. This latest news story today. Well, just very quickly, thanks a lot, Vicky. Vicky Clee for the 5 gifted memberships. I hope the 5 of you can enjoy your perks. Please do hit the button. Check out the exclusive content and static emojis, etc. that you've now been gifted by Vicky. Thanks again for showing solidarity and helping to spread the love and solidarity. Thanks so much for that. So the Welsh First Minister has faced a vote of no confidence, and a lot of people are calling for him to stand down. Again, it's blow for Starmer. He needs a lot of seats to overturn this majority. It was an 80-seat majority. That's been whittled down a little bit, often in dubious and controversial circumstances with MPs standing down and defecting, etc. 30p Lee, et al. But he's saying he won't quit even though he's lost the vote of no confidence, just going back on to Vaughan Getting. And that was very quickly into his tenure, just 3 months in. But is this going to cost Labour more seats in Wales? The Plaid Cymru leader, Rhun Ap Iorwerth, said Welsh government figures, senior government figures, had wanted the vote to happen. 60 members of the Welsh Parliament, and Labour holds half of the seats with 30, while there are 16 Tories, 13 Plaid Cymru members, and a solitary Liberal Democrat. He looked pretty stunned. He looked pretty stunned from those pictures there. No doubt you'll agree. Well, this is fresh in the news. Give it a day or two, we may see him step down. Who knows? But that's a very short amount of time to replace him in the run-up to the election. Either way that goes, that's not great for Labour. Welsh Labour, you know, a slightly different brand than the one that we have here in England, but nonetheless, they're still our seats, they're parliamentary seats, and Starmer's going to need them. He's going to need them in Scotland as well. I said in the recent upload, I think SNP will just about cling on to a majority. There's a dash of hope in there, like I said, as well. But what's going to happen in Wales? Let us know your thoughts in the chat or comments. So yeah, another shout out to Vicky for those 5 gifted memberships. I'm going to do my best to pronounce everyone's names correctly. It's Your Little Bamboo, Mark Gildea, Octomimic, Tim Davis, and Finn Francis. Hope you enjoy those perks. Please do check out some of the other content on the channel as well. And let us know what you think about all of the topics that we've been going through this evening on Brews at 10. I think the most interesting story of the day was obviously Faiza Shaheen's announcement that she's standing as an independent, but a lot of the MSM and people have been harping on about this TV debate that happened last night, of course, and more specifically, this claim from Sunak that Labour's policies will cost British families, I believe. He said, I didn't actually watch it, I've only seen a couple of excerpts, should point out, but that, of course, turns out not to be true, that £2,000 is what Labour's policies will cost them. The mainstream media seem entirely shocked that in the run-up to an election, a member of the Conservative Party, no less than the Prime Minister himself, I should say, might go on the television and say something that isn't true. Oh no, heaven forfend that might happen. But they've really piled on this £2,000 thing. It is, of course, bollocks. It's been explained mathematically also, the fact that it wasn't actually come up by the Treasury itself. It wasn't calculated by members of the Treasury itself, and it just was like so many ways that it's been fabricated in. But they seem to be, they're falling backwards in shock that there might be an untruth. This is the party at the last election where the sitting Prime Minister hid in a fridge to get away from questions from journalists, famously refused to go on Andrew Marr's one-to-one interviews. He also made up that absolute complete bullshit story about his hobby of making buses out of old crates. And he was caught in an extramarital affair during the election, an extramarital affair that he got someone pregnant in, nonetheless, I believe, as well. And the police were called to his house because there were reports of a domestic argument going on. And this is in the weeks leading up to the election. But no, the Tories wouldn't ever dare tell a lie. Just one more quick one. Reminder about the fake verification Twitter page that they set up. And that turned out to be completely fabricated by Conservative Party HQ. Just absolutely made it up and tried to trick people into thinking it's some sort of official verification page for the live TV debates. Just bring this article up, sorry, while I'm waffling. Yeah, you're right though, Vicky. Those things were to get the stories of excessive drinking off the Google searches about him. I've heard that they were both mostly dreadful, Starmer and Sunak in this debate. I think the one with the 7 leaders coming up is going to be more interesting. I'm definitely hoping I can find the time to bring you a live commentary and analysis of that. It was the 80th anniversary of D-Day landings as well. So that came up. I think generally this should, people's reaction to it just goes to show how sort of, they're saying sick of politics itself. But the state of the country mixed with the sort of lack of hope and aspiration that Starmer's failing to provide is definitely ringing true. I will be catching up with the full thing eventually. As I said. It's also rather rich from Starmer to come out with his response to Sunak's bullshit. They just pointed at each. They're just going to spend the next 4 or 5 weeks pointing at each other and calling the other person a liar. And that's they both are right in that regard. You know, even a broken clock's right twice a bloody day. And Starmer, its U-turns on policies, the way that he hoodwinked Labour membership to become leader, and then did this purge on the left, etc. The lies on trying to reel back on his comments about Israel's right to cut off water and food to Palestine, for example. The list goes on and on. As does Sunak's, the £2,000 thing is the latest one. This is what we've been reduced to, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, dear viewers. Just pick out a couple of more points about that. Did you watch it? Let us know what you thought about it. So you've Sharon Whitlock, welcome to the stream, welcome to the chat as well. You heard earlier on another channel, and you can't remember either. I know they're doing a whole newscast about it. Well, it's, you know, slightly ironic. Here I am talking about it a little bit, but I'm not doing a whole newscast. Just about, if you're going to do one of those every time a Tory lies, you know, you're not going to find much time to do a great deal else, that's for sure. So this is the stuff that's been out today, the response to the TV debate, of course, and Faiza Shaheen's announcement to stand as an independent, as well as the no confidence vote from the Welsh First Minister. And out of all of that, I can't really say that, you know, Sunak's taken that much of the brunt of the worst of it. These things are happening, and, you know, a lot of people are going to be holding the nose in a certain sense and voting for Labour, but a lot of people are still weighing up what they want to do, and is it really the kind of effort that's going to be able to overturn that massive majority and give Labour a massive majority? This is an opportunity for people to show that they're done with first past the post, the system itself. I really do hope that they take it, and this continued boost for independent candidates, left-wing, socialist independent candidates, and the Green Party continues and echoes through from the locals into the House of Commons, because I think it's only that that's going to get us any kind of change in the system. Whatever you think the best alternative might be, PR, alternative vote, top-up voting, whatever, I'm pretty much sure that most of you are sick of first past the post, and also the quality or lack of in politicians that we're presented with overall. So please do take that chance. I'm not here to plug any one party specifically, but like I said, you know, they're the choices that I'm going to be considering. I hope that you will as well. There's a lot of different independent candidates out there. Depends on where you are. You're not always going to get a socialist independent or a trade union socialist coalition candidate, whatever. But do keep an eye out. It's not just yours truly who has to keep an eye out as well. Are these is this Oculus syntax doing anything for you? Let me know. Keep an eye on that as well. We'll see about that and so on. Right, so we'll start to get towards the end of the stream now. I do, of course, want to give a shout out to our wonderful members.
So this has been a pretty bad day for the Conservatives, hasn't
that.
it? We've had
apologies, left the clip from the start of the show running there. But I just want to bring up, the members list and give my heartfelt thanks and appreciation to you all for continuing to support the channel as I start to bring things to a close on the first Brews at 10. I'm going to try and make as many weekday nights at 10 as possible, just to be able to catch up with a few news stories. That gets you more content, and it also lightens the load on how many stories I have to sift through for the Sunday live stream. And when PMQs is back, of course, be back with those as well. So lots of new content to come. I do have it here somewhere, I assure you. There we go. And yeah, to all the people who support the channel, if you can see your name coming up now, thanks again. Does mean a lot. I'm going to be adding the 5 new members that we've got on the stream this evening as well. Shout out to Vicky Clee once more for those 5 gifted memberships. Thanks a lot to everyone who's been on the chat this evening. It's been great to catch up with all of you. Sharon Whitlock, Me Thrill, great to see you all again as well. And H. Luke Hill, I'm just scrolling up to find the 5 new members as well. Keep an eye out for those hot seats as well. Feel free to post in the comments on this live stream or for the last video that I uploaded if you've got any new suggestions for the hot seats. I think that was a great shout out earlier for Wes Street and seat as well. Me Thrill, that's potentially a very interesting one to watch as well. Well, what's going to be hitting the headlines tomorrow? We'll find out. I might be seeing you at 10, so that's another good reason to hit the notification bell. I'll try and post in the community chat as well with updates about upcoming live streams. A few people have said that just hitting the notification bell at the moment isn't working, so I'll try and do that. Keep an eye on your notifications so that you don't miss out. Yeah, so this has been Brews at 10. I've been your host, Lefty. It's been wonderful to have you. As always, thanks for your comments. Thanks for keeping it cordial in the chat. We'll see what's coming up tomorrow. I'll try and keep you posted. More content to come. Long play as well. So for now, everyone, hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. Hope those brews have gone down well, whether it be a tea or coffee or whatever you like to drink. And speaking of tasty hot beverages, please do check out the Buy Me a Coffee page as well. Oh, I just quickly had to squeeze that one in at the end. Okay, so hopefully I'll be seeing you tomorrow. And take care of yourselves. My left eye, I'll be seeing you soon. Good night, everyone. Take care.